So, about that finale. Up until this exact point, and yes, I really do mean this exact frame, my relationship with TADC was one of moderation. Initially pitched to me because go indie animation, I did enjoy the time that I spent with it. However, it became obvious as the show progressed that TADC lacked the same surgical precision that only the best media demand. Being a subscriber to how endings aren't fully encompassing, even during the build-up to its finale, I had a pretty good idea where I'd land on the show. But as a mere mortal, I sometimes can't follow my own rules, and as I walked out of the admittedly slightly smelly theater, I realized that I had just watched something I wouldn't ever soon forget, which I believe comes down to one central theme: choosing the love we think we deserve. Following Caine's deletion, it's a mix of anger, doubt, but most of all, betrayal. In episode 8, we saw Caine succumbing to those emotions, but in the finale, it's the first time he's ever grappled with them. He asks existential questions about his success, which is a deeply sad thought coming from a sentient AI, and it's in positions like this, when characters have mostly given up, that they would take any opportunity to get a second go. It doesn't happen immediately, of course, but eventually Caine is handed a lifeline, and it comes in the form of an incidental Wi-Fi connection. A connection that is extremely important, as it creates the opportunity for Caine to learn more about the crew's, let's say, real identities. I love the way this scene cuts back and forth between the present and his initial discovery of the first brain scans. Because just like how Caine first discovered Mike's scan, turning him into Scratch and making the circus to go with it, present Caine is trying to rediscover the main crew, using that knowledge to make the circus anew. Caine, in one moment, making his commitment clear, letting go the deepest part of himself, choosing his love of the circus, and by extension his love for the crew. The decision made here isn't one made with confidence. Caine doesn't even feel like he has a right to that love, which is precisely why it matters. He makes the decision because he realizes it's what they deserve, with Caine's goal now to become someone deserving of harboring that love. The margin for redemption, if there is one, will always be incredibly small, and it's a test of your conviction whether or not you're willing to take any chance given to you. But you have to reflect, and you have to listen, because if you don't, you're gonna wish you pried a little more. A regret that Pomni and crew surely feel. Initially presented with the reality of their very virtual situation, the quiet part is never said out loud. It's soul-crushing, or at least it would be if they technically even had one. So that's it. Just give up, accept your fate. No one would really blame you for it, but while we're still here, why not just do what we can together? This camaraderie is ultimately the driving force behind everyone in this finale. And even when things do get a lot worse, its spirit is felt in the literal hand that pulls Pomni back from certain death. And yeah, it's not easy. Gangle's left confused with the death of her abuser, Zuba relents despite not really wanting to, and Ragatha blames herself because maybe there's more she could have done. They're all burdens at the end of the day, burdens they will all need to share together. Using this bond as an opportunity to be more honest, check up on one another, and continuing on for those who can't anymore. It's not the first time this idea has been explored, but I do like the sentiment. Reality is what you make of it, even when your reality isn't even real. Their acceptance of the situation is put into perspective when they learn of their real identities, because it's not born out of lying down and accepting their fate as forever tied to this virtual world. It's born out of accepting who they are now. Abigail was Pomni, but now Pomni is Pomni. In this case, choosing the love of each other, including those who are no longer with them, because it's what they think they all deserve. All except one. As TADC went along, you could feel that eventually the story would center around Jax and Pomni, which is difficult to make feel right because Jax is a despicable character. There are conflicting feelings against this decision, feelings I also shared because I struggled to have empathy for an abuser, which is why it surprises even me when I say Jax's section in the finale is the best thing TADC ever does. The catalyst, of course, is her abstraction, which happens in one cut and off screen. A decision that, knowing abstraction to be analogous to suicide, makes a lot of sense. There's no buildup, no written note, and I guess true to Jax's nature, it becomes just one more curveball thrown at the crew. What follows is a deep dive into the different facets of Jax's mind. One where she's endlessly cruel, one where she conjures fantasies, and one where she converts reality into a joke. As a viewer, you might not share the same doors in your mind, but what we all have are those layers of separation made to protect the deepest parts of ourselves. And for Jax, that comes in the form of the night where it all went wrong, her initial entry into the circus, and her relationship with Ribbit. It's brutal. It really is just fucking depressing, watching somebody who so far you couldn't help but vilify act genuine for once by telling a joke, bantering, and slowly opening up. The scene in Ribbit's room is easily the single best piece of character writing Gooseworx has ever put to page, and the distinct choice to slowly pivot away from the first-person camera puts into context just how big of a moment this is for Jax. Opening up this much and to this degree is so unfamiliar, it's equivalent to being out of her own body watching someone else pilot. We only choose the love we think we deserve, which, in Jax's case, was none. But in some ways, I'm glad we saw that, because it makes us feel this scene that much more. Jax is still Jax, and nothing could ever make up for all the things she's done, but I'm glad even someone like her got to have a moment like this, because it's beautiful when someone sees you for who you truly are.
Your secret's safe with me.
The amazing digital circus is far from a perfect show. Nevermore have I felt a creator's imprint on a project, and you have it being indie to thank for that. But being indie does come with a flip side. TADC was definitely not a one-man show, but Gooseworx has been vocal about the challenges of being the sole director and writer for all 9 episodes. While I'm not saying I'm giving the show's missteps a free pass just because of how it was made, I'm saying I understand, to my limited degree, what it's like to make mistakes writing a script. Did things just happen sometimes that felt inconclusive? Did Pomni and Jax invariably outshine all the other characters? Did the limited runtime of the show feel detrimental? The answer to all of those questions is undoubtedly yes, but the fact that the finale comes together as good as it does is a testament to the talent effort behind this project. I won't remember TADC for what it couldn't do. I'll remember TADC for what it tried to do. An accessible, weird, truly one-of-a-kind experience that, while I don't think the world actually deserves, it's an experience that I will forever choose to love regardless. Oh, and Gooseworx, you're a fucking legend for this.